I finally got a chance to leave Leh city and reach the Zanskar valley. The journey goes through Kargil and takes 2 full days. This means that we spend the night in Kargil and leave early the next morning. The road to Kargil is of good quality and passable year-round. On the 105th day of my journey, I am approaching my final destination, the Zanskar Valley. The destination of my dreams, where I intend to spend the next 2 months. However, these are the 2 coldest months. After leaving Lameo, the sunset rush is approaching. Further on, the road climbs the Photo La, the highest point of the way, and descends to ascends again to Namikala. At this time of the year, this is the only permanently passable road, but it only goes to Kargil. This is definitely a detour to the Zanskar Valley, and the way forward is often uncertain. However, shared taxi and minibus drivers are informed in advance about the options for getting on. If the roads are closed, they neither leave Leh nor Padum. The next day's leg of my journey will be more rustic than this. Today we left Kargil before sunrise, and in the early afternoon we reached the most difficult and highest point of the journey, the Peninsula. Because of its difficulty, this road is often called the Glacier Highway. Up to the middle of the road, Drang, there are some settlements in the form of villages. After Drang, all the way to the Zanskar Valley, there are no settlements at all. National Highway 301, commonly referred to as New Hampshire 301, is a national highway in India. NH 301 traverses the Union Territory of Ladakh in India. We eat our breakfast here, in this rudimentary restaurant. Among other things, this break is also good for stretching out our tired limbs. At the same time, we receive the first significant taste of winter Ladakh. Unlike the area around Leh, this area, which is classified only in the southern Kargil district, is less arid. There is not much available in this canteen, only salty and milky tea, biscuits and instant noodles. However, I won't have many opportunities to walk and exercise until early evening. So it's definitely worth taking advantage of such breaks, which are relaxing not only for the driver, but also for the passengers. The modernization and expansion of the Kargil-Zanskar Road, which is a vital section of the National Highway 301, is proceeding at full speed amid difficult terrain and unfavorable climatic conditions. The project is part of government's ambitious project to provide year-round connectivity and accessibility of border villages. The 230-kilometer-long Kargil-Zanskar National Highway will become an all-weather road. As the National Highways and Infrastructure Development Corporation Limited has begun work for its upgradation and widening. As planned, when this is completed, it will be the shortest route to Kargil via Manali, Darcha and Padum areas. We take our lunch break here in Drang, which is also halfway in space and time. Drang is a village located in the Suru Valley, in the Union Territory of Ladakh in northern India. Drang is located midway between Kargil and Padum. It is about 100 kilometers, 62 miles from Kargil, which means that if the cars started from 2 directions at the same time, they meet here. Rangdam Monastery is located at the head of the Suru Valley in Ladakh at an imposing elevation of 4,031 meters above sea level. Unfortunately, we only stopped here for lunch, which we ate at the driver's friend's house. Little time for Rangdam. After Rangdam, the valley resumes a more southerly direction to the Peninsular, elevation of 4,450 meters above sea level. The gateway to Zanskar. Just after the pass is the jaw-dropping Drung Glacier. A tongue of glistening white ice snaking down the mountain. And a superb example of the great forces molding the Himalayas. If you're short of time, it's a day trip from Kargil, actually a very long day, just to here will be rewarding. The Drung Glacier is a mountain glacier near the Peninsular Pass on the Kargil-Zanskar road, in the Kargil district of Ladakh in India. The Drung Glacier is a long river of ice and snow, a source of the Stod River, a tributary of the Zanskar River, itself a tributary of the Indus River. The Drung Glacier is the largest glacier in Ladakh, other than the Siachen Glacier in the Karakoram range, with a maximum length of 23 kilometers and an average elevation of 4,780 meters. To the west of Peninsular watershed flows the Suru River, an important tributary of the Indus, which it meets at Kargil. Before the modern road was built, the pass, apparently, used to be open only 3 months of the year because of heavy snows. Frequent urge to urinate is also a clear sign of staying at high altitudes. Do not panic at this phenomenon that seems unusual at first, the kidney works differently here. A bigger problem is that we rarely take breaks during this long journey. Although I have had time to acclimatize in Leh, my breathing is heavy and rapid due to the rarity of the air. Beyond Peninsular, a terrible road follows the Stod River as it flows southeast into Zanskar towards Padum. Here it meets 2 other valleys. The northeastern valley carries Stod, now the Zanskar River, to the Indus. The southeastern extension of the Stod Valley brings the Karjakchu down to join the Zanskar. As we approach Padum, the valley becomes more populous. There are plenty of small villages such as Tungri, Fay, Manda and Sani. The police checkpoint marks the border of Zanskar, where every foreigner is requested to register. The beautiful hidden region of Zanskar is composed of several small mountain-locked valleys to the south of Ladakh. The area's uninterrupted Buddhist heritage owes a lot to its isolation. For 8 months of the year, the Zanskar was completely inaccessible until recently. Now it's accessible for a brief time when the Border Road Organization, shortly the BRO, is able to manage keeping the road passable. Even so, Zanskar is not an attractive destination for most people in winter for understandable reasons. The winter here is extremely harsh and the way out is uncertain. In addition, the possibilities are very limited in winter for doing anything. Furthermore, it is also a non-negligible fact that there is no emergency evacuation in the Zanskar Valley and in most of Ladakh. The villages here are so small that passengers are dropped off right at their home. I spent my first night in Zanskar in an accommodation without any comfort, the roof of which I am now standing on. I arrived yesterday after sunset, so I didn't have time to find a better place to stay. Most hotels and guest houses are closed in winter. The landscape is stunning. But as you can see, my first night wasn't rewarding. Here is my accommodation from outside. And a typical winter morning in Padum. It is time for me to explore the area. This is New Padum here. The road what I'm walking on leads to pivoting, as far as I know. Padum is largely inhabited by people of Tibetan descent who follow Tibetan Buddhism, but there is a sizable Muslim population, accounting for 40% of the town's population and growing steadily, mainly Balti, who have been present in Padum since the 17th century. The 145 kilometers road to Darcha passing through Shinkula Pass is now operational, connecting to the Manali-Leh highway. Fortunately, I didn't have to wait long to meet a local resident, who kindly offered me to stay in his house with him and his family. I will be spending the next period as a guest of Finley, for that is his name, who has become a good friend of mine in the meantime. Through him, I will get a glimpse into the everyday lives and customs of the Zanskari people, but also into their ceremonies and holidays. I also visit the surrounding villages and then the cave monastery of Phaktul. Given the isolation of this region, the inhabitants tend towards self-sufficiency and until recently lived in almost complete autarky. Traditionally, any family having a number of children sends a younger son or daughter to become a lama at the gompa to which the family owes allegiance. Though there is no age limit above which a child is not admitted for ordination as a lama, boys and girls are usually sent to the gompa at a very young age. The gompas have a great influence on the socio-economic life of the village as well. No function, ceremony or celebration is possible without the presence and religious services of the lamas. Everything here is imbued with religion, which is hard to imagine from the West. Only the smartphone-like gadgets indicate that Zanskar has also entered the 21st century. The central element of the Ladakhi household is the typical stove, which can be found in all households here. All life is organized around the stove, especially in winter. It is the only one that provides some warmth in the harsh winter minuses. The heating material is dried yak dung soaked with a little kerosene. There is no chimney. The smoke leaves through a metal pipe leading to the roof. No matter how surprising, these stoves are considered modern here. When Finley was a child, as he told, the smoke stood in the room and could only escape through the cracks in the roof. Then the smoke painted the walls and wooden structure black. The living room and the kitchen are in one room in most Ladakhi households. This is the only permanently occupied room in the house. Everyone stays here at least during the day. In the winter they live here on the ground floor, but in the summer the kitchen moves upstairs. I say goodbye with these scenes. See you next time.